with Naveen Rao, who's the VP of AI for Databricks. Welcome, Naveen.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So I'd love to hear, there was a lot of talk this morning in the keynote about the future of open source. I'd love to know your take on that.
Yeah, I think open source today is in literally every real deployment. Maybe the heavy lifting is done by a closed source model, maybe an open source model, but any real deployment tends to have multiple models interacting. And there's always some components that need to be optimized or customized, and really that's the role that open source is playing today. So it's kind of intrinsically tied into any solution space today.
Yeah.
And I don't see that going away anytime soon.
Talk a little bit about the AI infrastructure requirements that you see in talking to customers these days.
Yeah, bigger, better, faster, cheaper, this is the constant trend. Really it comes down to I/O bandwidth between chips and memory bandwidth. That's kind of what enabled us to do more. Really, how you'll see this manifest is bigger models that behave better under certain circumstances and more context coming in. So when you provide more context, you can generally get better responses. Bigger models can provide better responses. So the new hardware, the new infrastructure that's coming about from neoclouds and others enables this. And so I'm pretty excited to see it. It's really just like kind of a march toward more of these quantities to enable kind of another inflection point in what we can do with AI.
And has there been a big takeaway for you this week at Raise in talking to customers and just the various conversations that you've been having?
I think really, I talk to customers all the time, and it kind of get reinforced by like when I come here and hear what others are talking about. You have a lot of startups who are building a lot of new things. They see their version of the world, and of course their version of the world is correct. So I like to hear what people are thinking about, but really the problems that I see are kind of reinforced by my conversations here, is that correctness and reliability is super important for agents. Agents are a great concept. Everyone wants to make them work. Making them work, customizing them is still an open problem. And there are lots of different theories on how we could solve that and potential products, but really it hasn't been cracked quite yet.
And what do you hear when you talk to people about energy efficiency and AI and compute? Like, what are you seeing or hearing?
Yeah, I think now we're sort of mired in this layer of how do I get this stuff to work. But just imagine a future where all of a sudden we crack some of these problems and things start to work. The demand will kind of skyrocket, and now it'll start to converge upon these kind of physics. Really, like how much does it cost to supply certain kind of insights? How close can I put it to where it's being consumed? How much power is it going to take? Like these things, these physical constraints of the world are where it's going to come down to. Because if something takes too much power, I have to put it in a centralized data center. That makes latencies go up. That limits the types of applications. So I think power is actually going to be one of the most critical things we have to solve in the next 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, I agree with you. Elon Musk actually wrote an article in CNBC about that recently. There was something where he was talking about the energy efficiency, how we're going to run out of power, how it's going to be a big issue. So I think you're exactly right.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, paint the picture for this group in terms of what you see happening with open source and AI 3 to 5 years from now.
I think it's not really going to go anywhere. We're in this weird place right now where the Chinese have kind of taken a lead a bit on the open source models. Meta has been shouldering a lot of that burden here in the West, amongst a few others, and Mistral and others. And I think OpenAI is going to join that game. They've announced an open model as well. Meta's on a tear now. I don't see open source going anywhere. I think if anything, it's going to become better, and there's going to be a whole service industry around how I make these models fast and cheap to consume. So I think what this is going to do is create like competitive pressure for the closed source models. They have to have something differentiated. They're going to be closed and less customizable. You got to be better in other ways. So I think that's the dynamic we're going to see play out, which I think is good for the consumer.
Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.